Okay, what's up, guys? This is Duke of Earl coming at ya, coming right at ya. We're gonna talk about patch 2.3 and all of the stuff that it has to offer with the wizard. Um, Basically, I'm gonna show you guys today a wizard hybrid build, which I'm very excited about. Because there are some different things that are offered in patch 2.3. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, go to Battle.net and under the Diablo tab and check out the PTR patch notes. That's what I'm in right now. I'm just going to show you guys quickly. The new Kanai's Cube. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I never have the volume turned up on this game. But anyway, the new NPC is Zoltan Cool, and he shows you a path to get this nice new item that allows you to basically you can take powers from a legendary item and basically mold it into your build without having to use the item, which is great. As you can see in my Kanai's powers, I have Serpent Sparker, and I don't have to use a Serpent Sparker. I have Tasker and Theos. Guess what? I don't have to use Tasker and Theos. And I have a Unity, and I don't have to use a Unity, which is super awesome. That means I can use Focus and Restraint and Unity at the same time, which is just incredible. I'm so glad Blizzard implemented this cube for builds. It's going to open up a lot of stuff. It's going to open up really cool options for people that have really been struggling with pushing their characters to the limit. I took a long break from this game. Now I'm back, and I'm going to be posting some videos here coming up about all this new stuff. You can find the cube in the Ruins of Sescheron, and that's a new area in patch 2.3, and that's where you find the cube, and you can start doing this stuff. The way that you do it is you get these new crafting mats in caches that you get from bounties. The community was screaming for a reason to do bounties, and Blizzard responded with crafting material for the new Kanai Cube. And you get them in caches from the bounties. Completing a series of bounties in a single act gives you corresponding crafting mats. As you can see, some of you might remember the old icons that were used back when crafting was a nightmare. But anyway, you only have to find 5 different ones now, and it's really cool, really quick, really easy, and the incentive to do bounties are now in full effect. So for this build, for this Tal Rasha build, I'm not going to go over the build too much because I'm going to assume that you guys already know about the Tal Rasha build from 2.2. If not, you can leave me a comment and we can go over step by step a Tal Rasha build and what exactly it does. I will tell you what you absolutely need for the build, and that should get you started. You can use what you will for certain gear slots that I will mention. But basically, I'm going to go on the assumption that you guys know how the build works anyway, so I apologize if I go too fast. For my weapon, I just have a DPS stick, as I'm calling it, kind of borrowing that idea from Chainer, well-known streamer of the Barbarian. He used to have things called DAT sticks before he knew that the offhand scaled on a Barbarian. It didn't scale, it alternated between the main hand and the offhand. He used to have a DAT stick in the form of a burning axe of Sancus back in the day. That was really cool. Anyway, I just have this for DPS reasons. It's really high ancient legendary rule. I have cooldown because cooldown is super important for black hole and crowd control in this build. For the boots, Nilfur's Boast. This is another must-have for the build. It increases meteor damage by a lot. You're going to need to get yourself one of those. Ancient preferred. For the Tal Rasha set pieces, you're going to want a source, the pants, the belt, the chest, the helm, and gloves. As I said before, you notice I'm missing Tasker and Theos because Hydra is a part of this build, but because of Kanai's Cube, I don't have to use Tasker and Theos, which is super cool. And I don't have to roll a good Tasker and Theos. It's always going to be increase attack speed of your pets by 50%, which is so nice to have, so nice to have. Anyway, those are the 6 Tal pieces. You want to get them all ancient if possible, all rolling with resistances if possible. This one is missing resistances, but I favor it in the form of reduced damage from elites. You want critical hit chance on your helmet. You want critical hit chance and critical hit damage on your gloves. And you want all resistances on your pants. That's something I'm working on. You want all resistances and life percent, as well as main stat and vitality on your belt. For the rings, I roll with focus and restraint. The one must you have on these rings is critical hit damage increase. Critical hit chance is not necessary on both rings just because of all the critical hit chance you get from other items. So I favored the vitality on this one because it rolled so high, and I just rolled 50 crit hit damage on it. For my bracers, I use Ransler's Folly because I love crowd control, and I use Energy Twister to proc Star Pact for Tal Rasha's 6-piece. And I put Arcane 20% damage and critical hit chance at 6%. For my shoulders, I roll with Pauldrons of the Skeleton King because when I am not in Greater Rifts, I do not use Unstable Anomaly. First of all, because Unstable Anomaly still sucks and Blizzard still needs to work on it. But this can serve as a death passive. It is not reliable, but it can sometimes save your life if you're in a sticky situation in higher torment levels. And for my neck, I have a Hellfire Amulet. I'm trying to get a Hellfire Amulet with those same rolls, but with a Unstable Anomaly passive or a Blur passive. Those are really the only 2 that I am gunning for. I can't wait for the new rollover. I have a whole bunch of keys that are going to turn into machines once the patch does roll over. And I can't wait for that. So that's what I'm trying to do with the Hellfire Amulet. Basically, those are the equipped items that I have. For the unequipped Kanai's Cube, I have Serpent Sparker, where I can have 1 extra Hydra at a time, which is really important for the build because Hydra is such a high damage output that having a Serpent Sparker really makes this build pop. And I have Tasker and Theo, as we just went over. Increases attack speed of your pets by 50%, which is, pets are, if nobody knows, the Hydras. So that increases their attack speed by 50%. For the jewelry passive, this one's up in the air. I use Unity because I don't like to die, which happens with the wizard. They get squishy at times. And I have the Unity passive equipped here with my follower having a Unity on as well. I think it's super important to have it. Other people might use Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac to take down some cooldown off of Supermassive Black Hole, but again, that's all up to you and what you want to do with the build. It's what I run, but yeah, that's that does it for items and my Kanai's Cube. Again, if you guys don't know much about Kanai's Cube, I can make another video. I will be making some more about the changes in 2.3, and I will go in depth in explaining them. But for now, we're going to go right to skills. I use different skills than most people when doing Tal Rasha builds. I use Magic Missile, Glacial Spike for the freezing proc, for the cold meteor, And the great thing about this rune word for magic missile is that it freezes an enemy for 1 second, and does a small amount of burst damage at 4.5 yards for 175% weapon damage as cold. I just like the way it feels. I don't like Blizzard, Snowbound, or Frozen Solid, or whatever it is, just because of the high AP cost that comes with it, and I already have really high AP costs with Energy Twister and Black Hole, so I am going to omit the Blizzard Snowbound, or whatever it's called, for now. I've never really liked it, but that's just me. For my first crowd controlling mechanism, I have Supermassive Black Hole. Um, this is the best Black Hole rune, in my opinion. The damage, the area of effect, and the DOT on this is just crazy. 1290% over 2 seconds is a lot of damage, and it procs the lightning meteor for me for Tal Rasha's elements. And Hydra, I just showed you that. It's double Mammoth Hydra, procs my meteor rune, my big, huge, massive meteor that is made of fire. And that this is super important to the build. I wouldn't recommend using anything else. Maybe you could use instead of Hydra, you could go with the Grand Vizier, which reduces the casting cost of Meteor, and use something like Meteor Shower. But for me, I just don't like the way that feels. Again, it's even though you get the reduction in meteor cost, the other skills in this are very high in arcane power, and you're going to find that you just run out of arcane power over time, and I just choose not to use it. For my escape skill, or my mobility skill, I use teleport and wormhole. You can use calamity, which stuns enemies, but I don't generally teleport into mobs. I teleport away from them, so not needed. And for Energy Twister, we're going to use Wicked Wind. Energy Twister stays in one spot and does 835% weapon damage as arcane over 6 seconds. I don't use Energy Twister for the damage from the skill itself. I use Energy Twister to synergize with Ransler's Folly, which pulls enemies in with Energy Twister within 30 yards. This does not work on champions and elites. It only works on trash mobs. But that is why I have Supermassive Black Hole, so I can pull in champions and elites and then drop an Energy Twister right on top of them to proc the Star Pack Meteor rune. So I just think that all four of these skills that proc Tal Rasha elements synergize really well together. It's less clunky than some of the other skills, I feel. But that is pretty much the offensive part of this build. The only defensive part is teleport and energy armor, prismatic armor. This one, it increases, your resistances to all damages by 25%. I don't think I've ever used anything different than energy armor and prismatic armor in any wizard build, going all the way back to critical mass. Before 2.0, but yeah, anyway, it's always been right there. Passives, blur, this is essential. 17% damage reduction on top of Unity. That gives you 67% damage reduction straight up from missile and melee attacks, so that is a staple for the build. Astral Presence, I choose to use this because of the high arcane cost for this build. It increases my maximum arcane power by 20, and regen of AP to 2.5 per second. It really helps. It's really noticeable when I don't use it, so I just always keep it in there and not worry so much about arcane power. And this is a crowd control mitigation type passive. Any arcane damage that I do slows enemies by 80% for 2 seconds. Since I use a lot of arcane with Energy Twister, this has become a necessity for me in this build. You can use something else, maybe a unstable anomaly you could throw in there. You can also throw in dominance if you want, although I really don't like that passive. It can give you some more damage mitigation. You can also use illusionist, which a lot of people opt to go for, because this is a really unique really unique passive that if you take 15% of your maximum life in damage within 1 second, it resets the cooldown on teleport. I don't find that I need this very much if I'm staying away from enemies as I do for this build, but if I was a little more close up, this would be definitely needed. But yeah, those are some different options you have with in favor of the temporal flux. I like to use TF just because of the crowd control that it brings to the table. And the fourth passive is elemental exposure. This is basically the same thing as Tal's 6-piece bonus. It increases the damage type, stacks on top of each other, and by 5%, and it can stack up to 4 times. So that's an extra 20%. Damage increase if you're spamming all of those skills at once, all the different elemental procs. So that does it for the skills. Again, if I'm going too fast, I will make another video for you guys that really slows it down and explains it, but I'm just going to open a Nephilim Rift here, and I'm in Torment 8, and I'll show you guys how the build works real quick. Ugh, these maps are the worst. Anyway, I got an elite pack right here. First, cast Supermassive Black Hole, pop my Hydras, and pop the purple Energy Twister. That really brings down the rain. As you can see, those guys are really slowed down, and it allows me to maneuver and skate around them. Just because I'm in the PTR, you're seeing all those legendaries drop, so don't get too excited. This is not the live servers. And basically, all you're doing with this build is timing it correctly, using your crowd control abilities to jump around enemies and proc the Tal Rashas and focus and restraint, so that it sucks all the enemies in and right on top of those meteor spams. And this build's really fun. If you guys like it, we can go do another video that's more in depth and really goes into how this build works. But for now, this should be good to get you started and get you excited for the new patch, which is going to hit sometime in August. I can't wait personally. Anyway, that's all I really have for this build. If you guys want to, hit the like button on this YouTube thing, and subscribe if you'd like. You can also check me out on Twitch, www.twitch.tv/Duke of Earl. That's Earl with a 3 and a 4. And I stream a few times a week, mainly on Wizard and Barbarian. But for now, so long, guys, and hopefully you took something away from this, and hope to see you in patch 2.3.
Not ready yet. Need more time. Your defenses are nothing. Still waiting. Not ready yet. Need more time. Didn't see that coming. coming, did you? Still waiting. Need more time. Your grave awaits! Not ready yet.
I like to think the world is safer now.
Still waiting. I'm just warming up. Need more time. Not ready yet.